smiles because we've arrived here in London. This is our final stop here in England on the Yabso Red bus. It's been touring the English countryside. We've gone to 9 different towns and cities, and what an adventure it has been. But it doesn't quite stop because we're going to be in and around London for the next 3 weeks for the business end of the tournament. So come along with us for another adventure. Leanna in South Africa, I will do my best. A very good morning to you and welcome to our Rugby World Cup update brought to you live from England. Yes, we are in the English capital of London and we'll be here till the end of the Rugby World Cup. The Yabso Red bus, Absa, a member of Barclays, is parked at the Old Royal Navy College, which is the centrepiece of Maritime Greenwich, which is a World Heritage Site. A very good morning to you. It's great to be in your company and so good to bring this World Cup update to you. We just got 3 more days before the quarterfinal between South Africa and Wales. Yesterday, coach Hanneke Meyer named just 1 change to the team that will face the Welsh at Twickenham come Saturday. Let's check in with our camp correspondent, Simon Burke.
What a World Cup it really has been for Hanneke Meyer. He's been under pressure since day 1, since that loss to Japan. He's just announced his squad to face Wales in probably the most important match of his Springbok coaching career. There's only 1 change to his starting 15, but he's a man under pressure.
I cried probably for 24 hours and then commit suicide for 1 hour, and then that's just a joke. No, you know, like I said, a pack full of the pace of the leader. You know, that's when I always say there hasn't been leaders in times of peace. It's usually when there's war that you want to see the leaders coming through and the character. And I've always said I pick a side of character, and you know, I want to say arrogant, but you always test it as a leader and as a coach. When things goes well and you've got a brilliant side and everything works for you, that's easy to coach. I've coached like that as well. You don't actually have to coach. It's just everything clicks. It's usually when you fall back on your experience, when you're really under pressure and people write you off and the player starts to doubt. That you know there's 3 games you have to win all 3.
So JP Peterson is the only change in the starting 15. All the experience is on the bench, and that's where Meyer thinks he's going to need it later on in the match. I'm Simon Burke, bringing you the latest from the Springbok camp.
And the team that's been announced certainly has been a welcome one for so many commentators here in England, as well as the South African journalists that are here in England following the Rugby World Cup. Stay with us, we're going to have more for you from London after this.
Good. Point. Sit.
Get behind Rugby World Cup 2015 on SABC.
Welcome to Network, a technology news program that also discusses what's trending in social media in and around Africa. MTN has launched its new movie and television streaming service, Front Row. If it's trending, we will find it. That's Network with me, Spumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. only on the SABC News Channel.
Welcome back. You're watching our Rugby World Cup update. Today, the Yabso Red bus is parked at the Old Naval College, which is the centrepiece of the Maritime Greenwich and also a World Heritage Site. The Navy, however, moved out of this site back in 1997, but it certainly is a site with a lot of history dating back way back to 1420. Let's bring you up to speed, though, with what's been happening when it comes to the rugby and, of course, all the news around the rugby team that will be facing, the South African rugby team, rather, that will be facing Wales come Saturday. Matt Masina, thank you very much for waking up early and joining me here this morning.
Yes, thank you very much. Very interesting team indeed.
And it's been a welcomed one.
Yeah, well, it's just only 1 change that from the team that played against USA, and I think he's just keeping the momentum just going forward. Quite interesting to see that he's starting with Frans Malherbe again at a tight head pop, which I really think that it was good. I mean, if you're looking at the tight forwards at first, I mean, Bistem Tawarira was just good as well. Bismarck slowly but surely he's getting there. But I think the engine of the South African team is right there by the locks. Eben Etzebach and Luot Teyaga, I really thought that, you know, they are superb anyway. So not really sure whether, because I had rumors that perhaps maybe Victor Medfield was going to be there, the guy who's going to be take over from one of the youngsters. And then the flanks, you know, Francois is still okay. You know, Skalk as well. I really think that Skalk is playing superbly. And then Dwayne, he started very slowly, but I think all the time, each and every game, he's getting better each and every time. So, but the key as well, if you're looking at 9 and 10 with Fourie and Pollard, you know, those are the guys that will need to definitely make sure that they do control their team. The two centers, I don't think that you are supposed to really just change them, because they haven't really just you know, done anything wrong. Although if you look at the way they play, according to me, they haven't really just set this tournament alight. And then of course Brian Abana as well, you know, I'm happy just to see him play. Let's hope this time he just scores that one try, because I really want him to break that record. It is very important. And happy as well to see JP Peterson back in action. We all know what he can do. He's done very well. He was injured, but now he's back in action, making sure that he does the right thing. Vili as well, it's still a little bit quiet, but then you never know. Perhaps maybe this is the time for him to try and see if he can set things alight. It's going to be very tight, so we'll need guys that will go out there and make sure that they do break, you know, the Welsh defence.
Thank you very much, Mac. And we're yet to see who the Welsh will select in that quarter-final. And, of course, they're a team that has been struggling with injuries of their original squad. They've had to make a total of 6 replacements. So let's see how they actually, when they do announce their team, how they manage that. As I mentioned, we're at the Maritime Greenwich, which is a World Heritage Site. And it's made up of a number of different little museums. One of them is aboard the famous Cutty Sark. All aboard the magnificent Cutty Sark. These days, it's parked alongside the Thames River at the Greenwich Pier, south of the River Thames, but it was launched back in 1869 on the 22nd of November. I may be a little bit short to be the captain of the ship, but the real captain of the ship is the curator of this museum, which forms a part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. She's Jessica Lewis.
Well, the name comes from a poem by Robert Burns, and it's called Tam O'Shanter, and it's about a farmer, Tam, who encounters a coven of witches, and one of them is a beautiful witch nanny, and she's wearing a cutty sark, and a cutty sark is a Scots term for a short dress or shirt. And the ship's figurehead is Nanny, wearing her very revealing cutty sark, chasing after Tam, as she does in the poem. Well, Cutty Sark was built in 1869, specifically to go to China to bring back tea. She was built to be the fastest ship of her day. And she actually found success going to Australia, bringing back wool incredibly quickly, 73 days from Sydney to London. And she was built up in Scotland, in Dumbarton, by a young company, Scott and Linton, and they actually went bankrupt building her because she was such a high specification. She really is made of the best stuff. In the late 19th century, 50 million kilograms of tea were coming into Britain every year, and it was the first ship back with fresh new season's tea. So when visitors come on board, they're engaging with the structure that sailed to China, that sailed around the world, and that's the original 1869 structure. The first highlight was definitely, as you walk into the ship, you're walking on tea chests. It's the appearance of walking in tea chests, a space that would be jam-packed full of cargo, but you're also seeing the original structure that sailed to China and around the world. Cutty Sark arrived to Greenwich in 1954, and she's now been part of the Greenwich skyline for longer than she was a trading ship. Over 16 million visitors have come on board. But we had a major conservation project to preserve the original structure and reinvigorate the visitor experience. And we reopened in 2012, and we've since had 1 million visitors since reopening.
The Absa Red Bus, Absa member of Barclays, is going to continue to be parked at the Maritime Greenwich tomorrow, where we bring you more stories from this historical place, but also as well as keep you up to speed with everything that you need to know about the Rugby World Cup. On that note, it's a goodbye from our team here in England, and back to Leanne in the studio.